Hello, Power Pioneers. Welcome to today's Enterprise Open Forum. We're so excited to have all of you on here to gather each week, and collectively share our insights of really what's working for us with either referring people to the Enterprise platform or what's not. And then once you have Enterprise, how do you master that so that you truly own your own solar business and you can really take it to the very next level. So thank you for gathering here today. Today is September 27th. I want to give everybody a friendly reminder. The first place you want to always go to for any kind of question in Power is the Power Knowledge Center. That's that cool little brain icon in your Power platform. Just click on it, put in the search bar exactly what you want to know. Do you want to know about Enterprise? Boom, put it in there. Do you want to know about the equipment? Put it in there. Loan questions, put it in there, and you're going to get all the info you need. So please, friendly reminder, always go there first. Now to get to the fun of what we are here today, and that is to learn about Enterprise. We're so excited for our guest today. You've seen him on every leaderboard. He just dominates the leaderboard. I know you all are so eager to learn what are his secrets. So we are super honored that today Jonathan Brunasso will be with us. He's going to tell us how he uses Enterprise, and we get to learn from his success. As always, he just gives back so much to this community because he really wants all of you to succeed. So Jonathan, I'm going to go ahead and turn the Zoom over to you. Thank you.
Cool. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Type in the chat where you're calling from. If you're a mentor, if you're new here, love to see all you guys here and appreciate the introduction, Melissa, as well. One of the coolest things with Power is the community that everyone's built. We all help each other. We help executives help us. We all help each other learn. We all have a vested interest. I'm a shareholder in this company. You're shareholders. I have a team. If they do well, I benefit. I mean, it's an amazing platform when you want autonomy and freedom and family and collaboration. When you really appreciate that, I really had a moment yesterday of gratitude for that. So I just want to thank you all, and it's my pleasure to help out here. And I'm in Southern California with all my trophies, not to show off, but I am will be in Downey, California this Saturday. JC Rangel is hosting an in-person training. No sales, no fluff, no recruiting, nothing, just pure solar knowledge. Because unfortunately, some of them, even the mentors here, just don't always have or the tier 2 sellers don't always have the knowledge around ground mounts or recessed comp outs or azimuth or why west over east with this home or this utility and NEM. And so we're really going to drill down on just solar tech knowledge like the tier 2 certification. So this Saturday, if you're in Downey, shoot me a personal message later. We'll also be Zooming it. So make sure to pay attention to the Power Hitters Facebook group and all that good stuff. All right, so I want to share my screen here and I'll set this up. And it shouldn't be too long. I'd like to keep it to like 20 minutes of me blabbing, and then we can do some Q&A as well. All right, so let me get all situated here. All right, cool. So like Melissa said, definitely bookmark these. The first two are knowledge base. There's slide decks in here. There's videos in here. Lots of great stuff in here in knowledge base. And then there's whatisyourredline.com that Charles Thompson has made with lots of great videos in there. And that's actually a resource to send to an installer or a roofer if they're a little more savvy. I always send my video Power Explained in 15 minutes. And that's solarmodelexplained.com. So I always try to get them a little base first, which is also on whatisyourredline.com. And then the knowledge base is for Power consultants that have signed up with the platform. So definitely bookmark these and save these and look at them and digest them. And before you meet with your leadership and you're on the Zoom with a potential enterprise and one of your leaders in your upline, make sure you reviewed all this stuff and you're already here, so you're already a step ahead of the curve. So I'm just going to do a basic overview, guys, how I interpret enterprise. I am Enterprise Pro. I have unlocked additional revenue share from my sales in a rolling 30-day period, which I'll touch on. I can also explain seated seller and just really dumb this down. A lot of people get a little bit too ahead of this, too eager, right? This is in beta mode, beta mode. Powur's not pushing this super hard yet. We just sold 26 megawatts last month, 30–40% more than we could have expected. Like, we're trying to be perfect at what's in front of us right now, because enterprise has the capability to 10x this business, right? So we're taking baby steps. The growing pains are showing themselves as we get bigger and bigger, and it's necessary. Those growing pains are there. It's only a matter of till we see them. So the more sales we do, the more volume we do, we're uncovering those, and that should be exciting, because it's only going to make us better and better. So when enterprise is fully launched, when we have a master class on enterprise, when it's no longer beta, it's going to kick ass and 10x this business. So a few basics here. These are some new names that haven't been rolled out yet, but we all know that the basic Powur membership is $85 a month. What we refer to now as enterprise, or what may be called Powur Pro, is $175 a month, the basic enterprise, and then Enterprise Pro, as we call it, is $350 a month. So those are the monthly membership fees, and we'll kind of dig into some of the value proposition here. So just some basics, high level stuff real quickly. You know, why we're doing enterprise. It's to really attract companies, teams, EPCs, dealers, maybe a broker, maybe a roofer, other solar installers. You know, I like to say, my brother said this, if you need an assistant managing your business, if you need an account manager or an assistant managing your business, if you have a couple door knockers out there and you want to make them lead generators, if you have sellers that are using your office and you're giving them extra value and they're selling for you, like then enterprise could be for you. If you don't ever need an assistant, if you don't ever plan on doing 30–40 sales a month in your team, your company, you know, let's not overcomplicate this. It's not always needed. I like to say, right? Like, I brought in a real estate broker with normal Powur membership, and he invited his agents to be his $1,000 ambassador. And if they wanted to upgrade from ambassador, they could go to consultant. My point is that the standard Powur platform works for a lot of people. But again, if you need an assistant managing your business that you don't want to see commission, if you need a manager, if you need to assign leads out there to the field and you want to have a higher percentage, if you want some of these things, then enterprise could be for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, a lot of people ask this, do I still get rev share if someone under me is enterprise? Yes. The classic revenue share, 6 tiers of earning, applies to enterprise, pro, standard, everyone. It still operates the same. So there is still revenue share. The enterprise still gets the 70-30 split as standard. Just think of it as another account with extra features. Now, Enterprise Pro can earn additional income from Powur's take, and then a little bit less gets rev shared up. I'm going to touch on this towards the end. This is where an Enterprise Pro, based on sales volume, can earn additional income. And you know, some of these things are coming soon, right? Enterprise software suite, a little more CRM. Eventually there'll be like a I don't want to say white label or partnership. That's coming soon. There'll be better API for importing leads or getting out leads. So that's coming as well. There is automated team commission payouts. These are some value propositions when you're pitching an enterprise. You get access to the Powur platform. Your team all gets the training, the proposals, the designs, all the contracts. It's all managed by Powur. The automated commissions. You don't have to pay your bookkeeper payroll to do tons of work now. It's all done for you. You get access to the best loans. There's a loan rebate, right? The fifth income stream right now. You get access to the best RECs, Hanwha, Solar Edge batteries, Enphase batteries, all that stuff at better prices than most everybody. And built-in revenue share, and of course, equity stock options as well. So this is a slide that's in the knowledge base that's, I find, really good. So you can see the different functionalities that enterprise has. So in enterprise, there is a role called lead gen. I believe it is $25 a month. They can access training, support, and leads and see their own projects. So that is like a door knocker, for example, that you could have, and you can pay them out maybe $800, $1,000, $1,200. You get to set how much they make. You could think of them as a setter or a door knocker. They're not really the closer. And they do get some payout at M1, M2, and you can give them a fixed amount, like I was just saying. And then Enterprise Pro has what's called a seated seller that we'll get into in a bit. A seated seller with Enterprise Pro, the Enterprise Pro is paying the monthly membership fee, $85 a month. That's important to say. So the Enterprise Pro will be paying their membership fee. And this person can sell projects, access projects, put in leads. They can be assigned leads. They can be tagged as a mentor, and they can even put in their own referral deals as well. And their membership is being paid for. They can also recruit if the enterprise allows them to recruit. And then there is two more roles, the enterprise support, like an assistant, or the manager. I actually have one assistant, I think, and two managers. So my brother and I hired a project manager from another solar company. She's our personal assistant and our project manager. I'll show you her view of my enterprise in just a second. So she gets to come into my enterprise and see everything. She has access to training. She can write a ticket. She can help move jobs along, respond to tickets. So she can do a lot of things. She can see my commission if that's the manager role, $25 a month. So I can have a manager managing my enterprise. And the support role, like I said, is a little bit more of an assistant, $25 a month. They cannot see the commission and they can't add new team members. And then, of course, you know, whoever owns the enterprise and the Enterprise Pro. So the only difference between Enterprise Pro and Enterprise, besides being more per month, is the Enterprise Pro can have a seated seller, which I'll touch on in a little bit more. They can have a seated seller. They can take a little bit more commission off of that seated seller and pay their membership fee. The Enterprise Pro also can unlock certain additional income or revenue when they sell a whole bunch of deals in a rolling 30-day period. And I believe there's additional stock options for Enterprise Pro. So those are the three differences, in my opinion. You can seed a seller and you can unlock additional revenue, and there may be more fancy stuff coming later, but for now, those are the differences. So and then I do want to say one thing too. One of the features of Enterprise is that you can give out leads to any tier 2 or tier 3 in the platform at a defined split. So if you were to upgrade your account to Enterprise Normal today, you could put in a lead and assign it to any tier 2 or any tier 3 in the platform and say, hey, I'm offering you 40%, I get 60%. Hey, I'm offering you 30%, I get 70%. So you can literally define how much that closer is going to get. So if you're someone that's generating leads and your leads are really, really good, maybe you could get away with 40-60. If you have a project manager helping move your jobs along and you're giving out leads, you know, maybe 30-40% offering is good because you're going to have someone, an assistant, help move jobs along. So that is one of the biggest things with Enterprise. You can give out leads and you can define the split. You can have an assistant or a manager manage your account. And then Enterprise Pro has a seated seller that you can take more commission on and pay their membership. If you don't need those things, you don't need to upgrade to Enterprise. I just want to really stress that. Those are the main benefits right now. So let's keep going. And I'll try to stop here and check the chat in a minute, but got a few more things. Hope this is making sense. So Enterprise Pro, we talked about seating a seller. So that means you're paying their monthly membership fee of $85. You can also assign them leads. Remember, at any split that you want, you're by default getting that 70-30 rev share like we already have in Powur. But one of the things that an Enterprise Pro can do to a seated seller is adjust the default commission. So this is not when, well, you can give them leads and adjust the percentage of commission. But on Enterprise Pro with a seated seller, you can take an additional 5 to 10% more to the organization on their own referrals. So if I seat Sally underneath me and I'm paying her $85 membership and she can use my office, and I'm paying her ticket to Powur World and she gets VIP training with me, I might say, hey, Sally, you know, you're going to be on a 60-40 split because my organization is taking that 10%, or 65-5, you know, my org is going to get an additional 5%. So a seated seller is getting their membership paid for and usually getting a little more value. And then the Enterprise Pro can take a little bit more off the top. So this is for, like, imagine a team that has an office and there's a manager and maybe there's even a little base pay, or there's benefits, or there's swag and shirts and flyers and an assistant in the office, like all these things. Then that would be great for Enterprise Pro and having seated sellers. So that is one of the Enterprise Pro features for a seated seller, take a little bit more commission. Now, another thing I'd like to show you, this is a little bit advanced. I think I'm one of the first ones to actually hit this volume-based pricing. Is my camera working?
No, your camera's been froze.
Oh.
But your screen share has been great.
Okay, well, I'll just keep going. That's weird. So I have new volume-based pricing here. So again, this is very new, and I did just unlock one of the levels that I'll show you. So when an Enterprise Pro and or its seated sellers accomplish 15 sales in a rolling 30 days, they're getting an extra 2.5%. I'm going to say that again. If the Enterprise Pro and or its seated sellers sell so many deals in a rolling 30-day period, then they unlock an additional percent. So let's just pretend, and I think I'm actually at 39 deals for myself and my Enterprise Pro in the last 30 days. So what does that mean? My Enterprise Pro is getting an extra 5% off the top. Now that's locked in at M1, depending on which milestone I'm at. Now I'm just going to give an example real quickly. I don't like using the 10 grand margin for an example. I like using like a 7 grand margin. So what is 5% of 7 grand? $350. Now, what if 20 of those jobs make it to install and I get that extra 5%? Well, that's $7,000. So you're talking about some real bucks, ladies and gentlemen. And again, you know, those are first seated sellers and the enterprise. I think I was able to sell like 23 referrals in August, plus I have a few seated sellers. So I'm unlocking that additional money. A little bit less rev share will float up to Charles, but I'm sure he's okay with that because that's a good problem to have. If your Enterprise Pro under you is doing so darn well that they're getting a little bit more, you want that problem, right? It's okay that a little bit less rev share is being floated up. So this one is important. This one is very attractive. If the Enterprise Pro and its seated sellers, and seated sellers can only be level 1 or level 2 to the enterprise. A seated seller can only be a level 1 or a level 2. That Enterprise Pro can only pay the membership fee for a level 1 or level 2. And the enterprise can sell so many deals in a rolling 30-day period, then you unlock additional revenue. I'll circle back to this too in just a second. But this is important because when you're pitching a team, when you're pitching a solar company, you have to say you get a loan rebate. You and your reps get a loan rebate. You have to say if you sell so many deals, you're going to get additional compensation. You have to say we have a 70-30 split already. So when you add up the math on this additional 5, on them keeping an additional 5, on the loan rebate and the revenue share that Powur already has, then that number looks really sexy to a red line EPC company. You have to leverage these things and you have to really focus on our value. And you have to say you're going to grow in ways in states that you never could have dreamt. Your 15 sales rep company is really cute. Is that where you want to be in 5 years? Or do you want to have 300 nationwide selling HVAC, roofing, publicly traded with stocks, and beyond your wildest dreams? Which one is more sexy to you? So you always have to plant that seed. This could grow bigger. You may even have to take a few dollars off this year, like EXP Realty. You pitch that office, you might make a little less this year, but then you're going to make way more in the coming years. And if they're not smart enough to see that yet, they will very soon. Okay, and one of the last things here before I show my account to y'all is there's a new equity plan. I have to double check if this is for Pro or both enterprises, but you still get the 10 options on first install, and when you refer someone, you still get 5 options. Let me mute out Willie there. But this one is pretty attractive. Annual performance goals: if the enterprise or Enterprise Pro can achieve 50 installs or 250 installs or 1,000 installs in a year, you can get some serious stock options. And if our stock is valued at $9, I think it's probably close to $11 or $14 now, but do the math. $11 times 1,000 shares, 250 installs is not too hard for an Enterprise Pro to accomplish. So added stock options with us as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and get into a little bit of screen share here. And if you're watching this recording, here's the resources again that you can look at in knowledge base and what is your red line. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go into my platform. Now, you all have this standard dashboard, which I'm not going to show you, my earnings, projects, marketing, earnings, reports, team, and activity center. Now, here's my enterprise. It just shows up here. So maybe you haven't upgraded yet and you're wondering, what does it look like? It's just right here. You can see your projects for the enterprise. You can see the marketing for the enterprise, the earnings for the enterprise. And you can see the comp plan for the enterprise, the team, the enterprise settings, the default settings. But I wanted to show you comp plan, what we were just talking about. So sales within the last 30 days for me, my Enterprise Pro, and my seated sellers. Like, I have Corey Ventura is a seated seller of mine, for example. So 39 sales within the last 30 days. I'm currently getting 5% extra for my organization. I like to give it back, right? I like to give it back in training. I like to donate it. I like to pay for some team outings and dinners, and I like to give that back. So that 5% is locked in. When these jobs here hit M1, that is when whatever tier I'm at is locked in. And when it pays out M2, that's when I get those extra bucks. So it's locked in at M1, depending on the tier you're at that moment. So that's super, super sexy. Let's see what else. I did want to show you what an account manager looks like. So we have an account manager here, Ashley, and this is her view. So she can see my enterprise, my projects, my marketing, my earnings, my team, and those default settings. And she can do trainings and access a whole bunch of stuff here. So in her logins, she can go over and see my contracts, and she can see my seated sellers as well. So she can come into Sarai here that I sold. She can see ambassador. Obviously I'm the one that sold this. If there was a lead, she could assign it to a seller. And so she can access all of this information. She can see milestones. She can see how much I'm making because she is my manager, my commission, and she can come in and leave tickets like she's already been doing. So this is what an account manager looks like when they log in to access Enterprise. So that's really the bulk of what I wanted to show. And then there are settings here. So, I have a manager, Janice and Ashley, and I have another family member of mine that is just an assistant. And I can set default seller offer. If I offer a lead, you could set flat amounts. I don't want to get into this too much, guys. This is the nuances of this. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. I can allow my seated sellers to recruit with my approval. But this stuff is a little bit less significant. And in the team, you can add a new team member. So if I wanted to seat a seller, I can add a seated seller in here. If I wanted to make an enterprise manager or a support assistant or a lead generator, then I'm paying the $25 a month for those roles. So I can add teammates into my enterprise straight away in my enterprise settings down here. And then of course my enterprise has marketing links as well. It's important to note that there's an enterprise seller join. That's the seated that I would pay for. Or if someone wants to join under me as an enterprise, that's what we call enterprise join. And of course, if I just want a standard seller, they got to pay their own membership. That's the seller join. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here, and let's look at that chat, Melissa, and see if there's anything going on there.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with it. I think there was a very important question from Aaron, and I want everybody to be very clear on this because Charles has been making it really well known to all of us leaders. His question, basically, Aaron's question was, are the seated sellers counting towards your revenue share plan? And the way that I am understanding it, I'll first explain it. And then if I have it incorrect, hopefully Brunasso, one of them, will correct me. But the way that Charles has made it clear, and same with Jonathan Budd, is that no, they do not count. So this is not something you should be doing if you have a very small organization. So this is great for Brunasso because he has a very large front line to him. So he can put them as seated sellers to count towards those projects in his enterprise. So if you don't have that large front line, get out there, start sharing how awesome Powur is, build that large front line, make it a goal then to where maybe you can get that enterprise rev share, make that a goal, but start first with getting your front line nice and secured. So Jonathan, is that kind of my explaining that correctly, or do you have a different additional info you want to add to that?
Yeah, Aaron, it's a great question. We're Jonathan, Budd, and Charles, and my brother and I are kind of some of the pioneers on some of this stuff, and Melissa too. But the answer is, I believe that they do not count towards your 40 at this time. I'm in favor of it counting between us here privately. Just because someone has a team or you get an EXP office to join, I don't feel that that should not be added into the unlocking. But I'm at a little bit of an impasse with, I think, Powur's view on it. So hopefully we can influence the view. But at this time, Aaron, it does not count. So if I have 12 seated sellers direct to me, those are not being counted in my 42 frontline active right now. So I actually have 54 or whatever, but it shows 42 because those are not being counted towards my frontline at this time. That's my answer. Yeah.
And that's it. So, and I really think it's important because so many people don't have that big of a front line yet. So don't even kind of think about this great way that Jonathan's figured out to seat those sellers. Focus first on getting your front line wide so you can access the pay plan, right? Next, focus on building your own business to where maybe you do need that assistant, right? I love that analogy that Chris Brunasso gave. If you don't need an assistant, you don't need enterprise. So then maybe look at Enterprise Pro. Let's not put the cart before the horse. And because, as Jonathan mentioned, it still is in beta. So we still are working through some things. And I also would like to see that the frontline seated sellers count. So maybe we do have a couple people that also really like that idea. So just basically, as always, Powur is always evolving and changing. So just stay connected, attend the trainings, and watch how it evolves.
Yeah, I want to ask Chris, I know you probably recruit the most enterprises with Charles. Did you have anything you wanted to add here at all?
Hey, yeah, I just hopped on like 10 minutes ago or so, but Yeah, just to give my like 1 minute summary, I think a lot of people get confused about enterprise. Oh, is it different? Is it a whole different thing? What do I need it for? Everyone gets so confused about it. But I like to just tell people, the regular enterprise, or what's going to be named Powur Pro, that simply is for anyone that wants to have an assistant role, the manager role, or a lead gen role where someone enters leads and they pay them out separately, or maybe a lead generator who wants to assign leads to anyone in Powur and dictate the percentage. So that's really the regular enterprise, or what's going to be known as Enterprise Pro, or Powur Pro rather. And then for anyone that wants to do Enterprise Pro, they get the same benefits, but the difference there is they can add seated sellers, and they can adjust the seated sellers' commission on their self-gen deals, and they can adjust if they do anywhere from 0 to 8 mentor deals with themselves or another mentor on the platform. So that's really it. Like what I just said is really the summary of enterprise, period. There's really nothing else. Otherwise, everything operates pretty much the same. So that's just what I like to tell people.
Yeah, cool. I kind of gave that synopsis 20 minutes ago too. Like, let's keep it simple. A lot of people just overcomplicate it. And this can be a great tool for referral partners as well. Roofers, brokerages. Do you find, Chris, are you recruiting any referral partners like roofers or solar installers? That's only if they need the assistant or the manager, right? Otherwise, the normal Powur is fine.
Yeah. And a lot of times, they might be on the fence about adding it, or they may have goals to add seated sellers or goals to build it out more. And I tell them, just start with a normal Powur account. It's perfectly fine. You can always upgrade to enterprise when you're ready to make that step, when you hit certain sales volume metrics, when you do get your assistant, or when your lead gen is up and running. At that time, feel free to upgrade. So I almost sometimes sell against it slightly, or just, if they're really on the fence about it, just to get them to sign up, just start as a regular account. They can always upgrade to enterprise later.
Right.
I do some roofers, because the roofers kind of want more of the enterprise. They want a little more priority to get roofing jobs in their area. I've had a couple enterprise pros also sign up that are just solar pros that have been doing solar for years. And I do tell people, the other benefit of Enterprise Pro is you get to skip doing your first deal with a mentor, and you get to skip your 5-hour onboarding. So I've had some solar pros that know solar like the back of their hand go ahead and sign up as Enterprise Pro simply to skip having to do the first deal with a mentor. And, they may pay a little bit more per month, but they're going to save a couple $1,000s by not splitting that first deal with the mentor. So that's another potential.
Just to add a note there, the leadership or the sponsor is directly responsible for all their questions and helping close that deal and beyond. So if you're going to take that step, the sponsor and the leadership is directly responsible. So Chris has the bandwidth, and he's able to vet who is qualified enough to do that. I do want to touch on one more thing too. I think someone kind of asked, just to focus on like roofers or solar installers for a second. So the reason why roofers are good to join as Enterprise Pro is because they get expedited to the front of the list. They can sell solar with the roof together and get paid out by Powur. So they need to be approved, and that helps get them approved. Now, we may not need to give out roof work to them in that area. We probably have roofers already, but other sellers in the platform can special request them. If they are an approved Enterprise Pro roofer, you can say, hey, can I please use one-stop shop roofing with Alex, if so. So an Enterprise Pro roofer gets expedited so they can get paid and sell their own solar, and then they could be special requested by other sales reps in Powur as well. And the same goes for solar installers. Enterprise Pro install their own deals and be special requested.
And that is a really big talking point when you are talking profit value and adding to the bottom of their red lines is that this is a symbiotic relationship. They can become that preferred partner. And then we do need to get going to honor everybody's time, and I have people waiting for me in another meeting. But thanks so much, Jonathan Brunasso, for sharing your wealth of info with us. Again, everybody stay tuned every week. We're always evolving with Enterprise. I do believe Charles is training on that in this upcoming Mastermind Immersive for October. So definitely don't miss those. All of Powur's trainings are recorded. So on your free time, when you're not selling or with your family, go ahead and check all of those out. Everybody is absolutely amazing, and have a fabulous day. Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa. See you next week.